And today we're gonna talk about thinking. You mentioned the word thinking twice already. You think about the book, second book,
Thinking
right?
and growing.
Yeah,
I love how you called this thinking and growing.
yeah, yeah. And my wife and I, we've been asking people the secret of how they think, so that we can share that with our audience, and whoever listen to the conversation will pick the tips, the advices, so that they can reflect and learn and apply. And I think that is the beginning of all of the beautiful change if they know how to do it well. All right. So. Um, so, Michelle, let's start our conversation simply by I'll ask you the basic first. So, what is thinking? What's the definition of thinking in Michelle's version, though?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've been advocating all of the leaders that I coach is I want them to rethink and reimagine how we work, how we connect, how we prioritize, how we meet. This is a whole new era, and it is time to rethink how we conduct business. So when I think of the word think, what comes to me is I want to not overanalyze things, and I really want to look with a new lens. I want to disrupt. I want to create. I want to innovate. To me, those are all ways that we can rethink how we want to show up in this world as the best version of ourselves.
Thanks for sharing that. So, innovate, disrupt, rethink of how we show up into this world, right? And then there's a lot of things that hold us back from better thinking. So I think it's for us to think better, then we need to also know what weighing us down, right? So that we can eliminate them. In your experience working for your and with amazing people out there, what seems to be the obstacles for them to become better thinker though?
Well, I think for years we've had some bad habits, and I think that a lot of leaders were trained from the command and control perspective to lead with power, lead with control. And inadvertently, because I don't think they did it intentionally, what happened was they created cultures of fear. And you're not going to get the best thinking, the best ideas, the best innovations when you have a culture of fear. People are scared to raise their hand. They're scared that their question might come across as stupid. They're scared, right? And so whenever you have somebody who's fearful of taking a risk, then you don't have innovation. So what I'm advocating is let's create cultures of connection. Because I believe through my research that if we create true cultures of connection in our organizations, if we get rid of the jerk bosses, if we allow people, enable people, encourage people to show up as their full selves and bring their full human selves to the organization, right? Then we're going to have the best thinking. If we have people who aren't scared to make mistakes, who aren't scared to ask what might be a stupid question, who aren't scared to fall down and stumble, then we're going to have the best thinking. So that's where I'm really moving in 2023 is my mission is to create and to help leaders create cultures of connection.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think that that connection is something that been lacking over the years for some reason. When we were young, we used to be really playful, connecting with a lot of others, right? And then growing up as adult, and then eventually something happened in between that's stopping us from being truly authentic and truly care for one another like when we were young. So what happened to us back then though during the grow up stage?
Yeah, you are so right. And those are great questions. And I really tried to get to the bottom of it in my first book, The Seismic Shift of Leadership, when I interviewed 18 leaders from around the world. And I wanted to know about connection, but I also wanted to know about disconnection. And we did become disconnected. And so many of the leaders I interviewed mentioned how they were trained to just bring your professional self to the office,
Mm.
and they were trained. I'll give you an example. I coach a chief of information services for a big company, and we were coming out of the pandemic. I said, what is something that you can do to really connect with your people who you haven't seen in person in 2 years? And he said, I would love to have a cookout. He goes, we just bought a new house on the water. I'd love to have a cookout with my people. I said, that's brilliant. He said, but my former boss at my former company told me that no, that was too personal. You don't invite people over to your house for a cookout.
Oh.
So you're right. Something along the way in the 90s, the 2000s, taught us that we were just supposed to bring one half of ourselves to work and kind of hide the other half. So you were only bringing half of yourself.
Yeah.
And so even to this day, when I am on coaching calls and I'll say, okay, let's look at the engagement scores, what is an area that you want to improve in? And they said, well, it comes up, kind of want to be better connecting with my team. I said, okay, so let's deconstruct connection. And to me, connection is, do your people feel seen, heard, valued, and appreciated? Then they feel connected. So I said, what are you doing in these meetings where your people feel seen, heard, valued, appreciated, respected? I said, are you asking them about their personal lives?
Mm-hmm.
No. I don't want to do that. I can't go there. We have a lot to accomplish. We have 1 hour and we have an agenda. I said, okay, but if you're going to drive 30% increase in revenue, you got to start by knowing your people and building a team where they not only trust you, but they trust each other.
Yep.
They feel safe. They feel comfortable. You create this culture of connection rather than culture of fear. I said, and what I've learned, the only way you can really do that is by asking them about themselves, learning about them, caring about them as full humans, not just what percent of revenue did they increase in their division last quarter. That's not going to get you what you want. So that's the seismic shift I'm referring to. You're right. Somewhere along the way, and I fell victim to this too, we were taught that it just has to be kind of command and control, and you give orders, and it's transactional, and you communicate to get from point A to point B. And now it has got to be about meaningful connection.